Hello, this was a build I was having a lot of fun with, and I thought you guys might want to try it out as well. It's a pretty simple Dante build. It's not like, maximum investment or anything too crazy, but it's just using simple steel charge to get some extra damage, because I call this the Warlock build. Equilibrium for energy sustained up to like 277% damage. That's just because I don't have these mods maxed out. If you do want to do maximum investment, you can just max out these mods and you'll be fine. And we can get around 41,550 overshield cap, which is pretty nice. Adaptation, so we're not going to just burn through that. And we got a little bit of duration with continuity, flow for some more energy, because that's always nice. And then we're going to be using this with the harmony. This is just the simple harmony build. Just running some heavy attack speed, heavy attack damage, melee afflictions. This is pretty fun. It did get nerfed, but it is still quite strong. I had forgotten to mention this before, but to boost the damage of harmony, you probably want to subsume Roar over Dante's first. As well as that, I only have 2 Amber Archon shards for casting speed. Going into it, I quite like this build because it breaks the normal gameplay loop with Dante. I don't necessarily know if anyone else has tried it. I'm sure there has been, but it's just quite fun and a refreshing way to play it. So with the harmony, you're not going to want to try and go for slam attacks like I accidentally just did. What you're going to try and do is get those direct heavy attacks, use like corrupt charge, and you're going to start seeing some pretty good damage numbers. Pop Roar first. 1.8. Okay. In the simulacrum, it's a little bit different, but you can get numbers between like 36 million pretty consistently. I haven't tested it with Roar in Dante yet, but I do know that Roar gives it a pretty significant boost. Oh, can I get the go closing out of the air? Might not be able to. Let me get this present real quick. Right here. Oh, there it is. Hey, some Boca. But yeah, this is quite a pretty fun build to try. Normal patterns. Get your neck tool up. Oh, I didn't have enough energy before. This isn't the best place to try it out. Not too high energy density, but quite enjoyable nonetheless. I just found this build to be a pretty fun way to pass the time. Like I said, break up the gameplay loop, because it can get a little bit repetitive after a while. Definitely not like game breaking in any way, but it's a fun way to hit pretty high damage numbers and have a relatively low investment build. I literally just have the catalyst in here. There's no Forma on Dante. I can't remember if I have Forma on my harmony. If that is the case, you can go back and see that in the video. But yep, just plow through the enemies. And you can still use this as a caster build, because you got that ability strength. So you can use that, just clear out a bunch of enemies if you get a little overwhelmed. And then for anything that's too tough, don't necessarily know how well it works on the Murmur, just because they can't be knocked back as easily, and that really hurts the damage on melee afflictions. But doing it on something like Grenier or Corpus, where they can be knocked back, it's a little different for the Xmas units, but you can still hit really high damage numbers. You just have to deal with their overshield. But doing this, you can easily get those 9 stacks of slash, bleed with the melee afflictions, and then it's instantaneously popped by the harmony, its special ability, which is quite fun. and that's where you can see those giant damage numbers. Because we're doing melee attacks with the Corrupt's charge, it's getting a double crit chance booster off of those mods. So instead of, say, like 180% from the whatchamacallit, Umbral, oh, I'm not gonna be able to think of it, but the crit chance, a melee mod, the Umbral ones, you're gonna get double what you usually would, because you're doing constant heavy attacks instead. But this is definitely a fun build. I would recommend trying it out. You can put up some pretty decent damage numbers. Not the most, but got a little bit more than the rest of the team. And I'm just playing pretty casually. I would definitely recommend you try it out. And as I will demonstrate in the simulacrum later, you can use whatchamacallit, Eclipse, but that does not buff Harmony as much as Roar does, because you miss out on the double dipping from the faction, or from the status effects. Same thing would go if you are using the Bane mods, which I am not, just because I like the versatility of not having them, and it already does enough damage as is. But you can put up some very solid numbers, and it's just overall a really fun build to use and try and implement. I should probably use another weapon because I don't believe melee is doing all that much to it. Where's this respawn? Yeah, I don't usually do this tile set all that much. But using this in like Zeramin missions, the Harmony can easily like one-tap a lot of the Void Angels. If using Monorai, then you can easily get through the stages super quick. And just relying on the survivability of Overshield and using that in tandem with adaptation, it's going to be very difficult to get yourself killed unless you somehow got like an Overshield strip, which would be a little annoying. Can't remember if there are enemies that do that, and if so, which ones, but I have had that happen to me a couple of times. And it's just a little bit annoying. But other than that, there's no issues with survivability. I don't know why I'm using that on the boss. I don't believe it's doing much. I was running something like more latum. I just don't know where the weak spawn. Weak ones. As if it even has weak spawns. Oh, yeah, it does. It does. Get the flame stacks up. Get the team overguard up. Using Monorai with it, you can also get that extra casting speed. Well, I guess the mission's kind of already over. What the? Oh, must be a glitch.
Return to the sanctum.
Going into the simulacrum, I spawned in some level 110 Steel Path Elite Lancers. I wish I could do a higher level, however I'm only MR16, which is slightly unfortunate. I'm gonna wait for my roar to expire real quick so I can recast it. However, these were the big damage procs I was telling you about. 23. What was that? 23 again. 38. 40. 40 again. And if you get that with your Molt Augmented up, I only have a level 1 Molt Augmented, which is a level 4. I really should get that up at some point. However, it still does a lot of damage, clearing it up. And this is without a Bane mod. If I were to equip, say, a Grenier Bane mod, I would put that in place of the Berserker Fury, just quality of life. It's a really nice thing to have. I believe I did. Yes, I did. just spawn in some more Grineer. You could put up even higher damage numbers, so you're casting Roar, 52 million, 62 million, another 60, 36, 59, 59. If you really wanted to pump the damage up, what I have done previously, and I've seen up to around 600 million, that was before I fully modded it out, is you could run Stealth with Octavia. However, I find this to be a lot easier to use and more practical in missions, because stealth kills are not exactly something you're doing on an everyday basis. Summoning them back in fully. The Roar is also really nice because it boosts the status damage from the Dark Burst too. So you cast some Dark Bursts, go in the middle, and all gone, which is nice for room clearing. The only thing about that is because of the fact that we are using a lot of the vault mods, like corrupted mods, we do not have the best range ever. We do have decent range. The ability itself does have pretty good range, which is nice. But if we were to mod it out for that, we could get a little bit more range and have basically, if it weren't for the line of sight, a map clear. But it works just fine as is, and like I said, we can get up to that roughly just over 40k shields, which is super nice. And then we can do the same thing with, say, Corvus. I do not have all that many enemies scanned. Let's just summon some of these. Oh, oop, I forgot to clear the Grineer. Clear that. These are the index enemies. I really should get some more Corpus scanned. So testing it with the base, just general with Berserker's Fury instead of a main mod, we can also see those big damage numbers, which are a whole lot of fun. 23, 35, 38, 38 again, and I'm just going to clear up the rest of them. Like I said, line of sight. But definitely does a good job clearing out the room. And we can see those damage numbers go back up again if we were to use the Bane mod, just because of the several damage instances from the status effects, the slash, which is very nice. So I can show you that in a second. Also, I am using Steel Charge on Dante. Corrosive Projection is nice for most stuff. However, because of the fact that we are using Slash and his entire kit uses Slash, including the Dark Burst, we do not need to have armor down because it just ignores armor to begin with. Same thing goes for the Harmony. All of its damage is from the slash procs. 59. 59 again. Sorry, it's a little hard to see the numbers. 59 there. Yep. Pretty consistent damage. 62. And that is only going to go up with the multi-augmented. Oops. However, this build is a whole lot of fun, and you can put out some pretty high damage numbers. I don't have high enough levels to see the full damage potential in the simulacrum, but it's a really good way to clear missions and have a good time while doing it. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe, and I hope you have a great day.